Is this podcast now sponsored by TJ Maxx?
Fuck
It
no,
could be.
they don't deserve that much love. No.
Hey, unplug that pink phone, plug it into a direct line, call TJ Maxx, see what we can get working right now.
I wish.
So Brian, basically, you're a Maxxinista by choice and by force, it seems.
But see, yeah, that's true. But see, I'm not ready. Like, I'm like a 33.333% between Kohl's, TJ Maxx, and like Marshalls, though. So I can't. So, and we don't want to go into comparing the three. That's a whole nother podcast that I've never even thought of before.
Ross. I used to be a true blue man myself. What about Ross?
Oh yeah. Ross is see in the Midwest. That's where are you at, Gabe?
Austin.
You must be. Sorry.
Austin,
yeah. Ross is definitely more southeast. Well, I'm well aware of Ross. Trust me.
I don't know. I go to Ross. You just get a steal there. You can find little hidden gems there on that shoe rack, dude. I'm telling you. Sometimes there's just stuff there.
We would have 3 weeks a year called double discount days.
Okay.
And I mean, employees already got 20% off, but we would have 3 weeks out of the year where we'd get 40% off. And I don't even know why. I don't know why I would buy.
Oh, I couldn't imagine
$600 worth of stuff. I don't even have like 5% of it anymore. Like,
isn't everything already discounted there anyways? Almost. It's already cheaper than it already is. That's a mega steal right there in my book. That's what we call that.
But the thing is about Ross is the clothing, and I mean, what Threet was saying, it's all awful. I mean, there's a reason why it's there.
Yeah.
So not if you're super eccentric.
Much like this podcast, the reason why it's here is because there's an overflow of fantasy football podcasts, and we just happen to be the one that doesn't have a show sheet. One of the few, I think. Brian, Jesse, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm kind of the type that just pushes live whenever I kind of feel like it. So we are, in fact, live.
I had a feeling you were segueing to live mode there. So right on.
We're Twittered out, share it to, your followers, your mom, that one dude that looked at you weird at Ross. I'm sure he's checking you out. So make sure and get into the open bar that's live right now every Tuesday besides last week, because J Mike is of much importance to me and we gave him a week off. So take that, Twitter. 9:30 Eastern. We're doing it. We're back. It's a good time to be back, J Mike. There's things
retweeted. We're done.
Brian,
we're done on this end.
Thanks. Gosh, you're on top of it.
That was a little delayed there.
Obligatory retweet coming in right now. Done.
J Mike.
I never retweeted holding a early 90s phone.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should address this first.
It was hard. I don't know if you noticed me. I was like, how do I do this?
Address it now, but come back to it every once in a while as well.
I'm sure there's no leaving this.
No.
I think in the biz they call this a callback.
Yes. Oh, one of those. I mean, with the old school though, you gotta with the callback. What'd you have to do? Like the star 669 or was it
69?
Star 67.
I never appreciated
star 67.
Yes,
yeah.
The star 67.
Star 67 was that the block? Like you would?
No, star 69 was.
Star 69 was the block ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Callback.
I was a huge creeper in junior high, so I used star 69.
No.
I totally see that.
You wore those buttons out, huh? You just they were the only two that were faded on your phone dial, huh?
I was the only one in the house that knew what was going on.
A reason to follow us live every week is to see unique things happening. What's happening this week is we got Brian on this week and all of his equipment's at work. Well, so he says. I think this is just his regular equipment that he actually has this 90s phone with an auxiliary cord plugged in. So dude is literally listening to us through the phone and then just speaking to some sort of mic.
Oh yeah, I got my AOL plugged in.
We actually had to share the link through AOL, through AIM. So, boy. J Mike though, my man, how are you?
I can't get over the pink phone.
No.
I can't get over the Butcher actually memorizing star 6ix9ine as well as he has, but at the same time, I'm not surprised by either thing. I think the only thing that I'm most surprised about, and I know you're gonna get to the point where we can introduce everyone. I'm most surprised by Jesse's look. Like, I pictured him being just baby face, super young, just like clean cut, and my man's got a beard of a disciple, and I love it. I am jealous. Man. That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's my fallback piece because I highly doubt this fantasy thing is going to work out for me. So if it doesn't, I get to fall back as a beard model. So it's, you know, it's there. You know. You have
the Nicki Minaj butt of beards.
Oh man, don't hype me up. Don't hype me up, man. Don't. Yeah. I'm feeling myself now.
No, Gabe, I'm good, man. I'm excited about the bunch we've got tonight. This is gonna be good. We've got a ton of news that's come through. We're more than halfway through our fantasy season, so I know that a lot of people are either making their playoff runs or they are selling off pieces, like the league that Threet and I are in. Both of us are like, you know what? It's not happening this season.
Hey, man, easy. I didn't allow that to be disclosed.
So yeah, I'm excited for it. Let's get to
it. There's, yeah, it is that time of year. I mean, I literally started throwing some trades out in one of my leagues that I definitely will not be competing in this year. I think one of them is actually a league that you and I are in. You just crushed me this week? Was that you?
Oh, I did. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. How was that? Was that fun?
I lost my most important league. So I just, but I meant to say something to you on Twitter, like a screenshot or something.
All right. Well, here's your chance.
I'm still going to do
it. Perfect. Things happened today. It'd be weird if we didn't talk about it, I think, but we'll get to that in just a second. We haven't really kind of formally introduced our guests. We sort of with Brian and Pink Phone. Curious what the other phone looks like because two phones are always needed.
I do have an iPhone around here just to prove I'm not in another dimension. It's yeah. My name is Brian Johnson. I'm in my sort of office here. I've had a few, as Gabe told me to, and I'm not prepared, but I work for Fanball. Used to work for LeagueSafe in Minneapolis. Am I supposed to be doing this sort of introduction right now? Maybe
great.
So. I left my headphones at work, but I got this pink phone from the Sharper Image. And yeah, I'm ready to rock.
Any way you could post that into the YouTube chat, like the link where we could find that? Because I mean, just curious. Like, I don't want one. I wouldn't get one for myself. I mean, I'm just.
I'm definitely not ashamed to rock anything pink. I got pink socks. I would drive a pink Cadillac if I could afford one, man. I'm all about the pink, but no. Just go to your discount store that we were talking about before we went live.
If you want a pink Cadillac, just work for Mary Kay, dude. All that shit from home. Right?
Yeah, that's a good one. But I'll keep my current job, my man. But yeah, good to be here, Gabe.
Yeah, no, happy to have you, Brian, and good to meet you for the first time too. At least in a digital world. Jesse, the beard has been introduced, and you've sort of been introduced already. Thank you for coming on, my man. How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Just sent the wife and kids on a little grocery run so I can hang out with the boys at the open bar, man. Just excited to be here. A lot of good stuff to get to today. I was very happy that you asked me to be on. As I've seen you guys do some really great work over here on the pod, and so I'm excited to be here, man. Just another Tuesday night.
Exactly. That's essentially the slogan at this point. Just another Tuesday.
Wait, it's Tuesday, right?
Indeed.
Is it? Indeed. Okay, because it's the day after Monday Night Football. See, if it wasn't for football, I wouldn't know the days of the week because that's how I correlate the days of the week. I was, that was a close one.
What's that meme where they got the dude getting interviewed online, then he's got to run and like shoo the kid away? We just had one of those, right?
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah. All right. Matt, good to have you, brother. He's the butcher. He crushes me in all things, and he sends me shitty trade offers. And we're gonna get into it. Matt, is that cool?
Let's go.
J. Mike, what happened today? Tell me.
Damn. Like the NFL decided to go ahead and go NBA trade deadline on us.
Man.
And just squeeze a lot of these.
Did they ever?
They did. So we might as well jump into it. And I feel like this was and I need to call out the chat already. And typically I wait a little bit to do this, but the chat's already popping. So shout out to everyone who's joined us on YouTube live, 9:30 Eastern sharp, like we like to do for the live show here for those who are listening in podcast form. But in the chat, what up, Aaron? Aaron's in the building here. Dwight was cracking. Tim McIntosh, my dude, was cracking. As well as Tyler, the boss, Gunther is in the building as well. One quick thing that we were trying to run through. Aaron made the point. He said, "Hey, I'm a good 2 weeks from making that call." He was emulating that pink phone, pushing for the 2020 picks and the 2019 picks. And the first question I threw out was, "Hey, who are your buy targets if you're in this fire sale mode? Like, who are some younger players that you're looking to acquire?" And this leads right into our trade discussion, because one Demaryius Thomas sent over to the Houston Texans, and Pro Football Talk labeled him DeAndre Hopkins' new sidekick, quote unquote. and one of the targets, or one of those with the unintended consequences there, would be one Courtland Sutton, who was the primary buy target. So all those things, let's talk about it. Demaryius to the Texans, Sutton obviously becoming basically one of the leading roles there in the receiving game in Broncos. Where do we want to go with
that? Busting your Suttons. It's about time.
Well, I think the Tate thing was just weird, kind of. I mean, the Lions kind of need Tate, right?
Yeah. I thought that was weird from their end.
They're right in the middle of the NFC North race. Like they're not out of it.
I know that. So that's the thing that stood out. I mean, we'll get into DT, but that made sense, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. The Tate thing was, I don't know, the Lions. That was weird.
It made sense for the Eagles, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know that.
Yeah, they have quite the receiving core at this point. I mean, and Aguilar being the fourth best receiving option isn't too bad, I suppose. But you'd think that they'd need a running back a bit more than a wide receiver, but I guess those weren't available.
Well, that's funny that you said that, Gabe, because I actually think that having them making that move for Tate, I mean, I know the run game for the Eagles has been really stagnant, especially from like a fantasy perspective with Clement and Smallwood. But I actually think Tate might actually the acquisition of him, I think that might help out the run game and Ertz too a lot more. I think he's, right now, Tate has never been like a downfield threat that stretches the field the way Alshon is. So I think he's a great complement in that aspect. And I also think that looking at it from a defensive perspective, when you have a guy that can go underneath and he's going to take those linebackers and you have the safeties that are going to have to drop in to cover Ertz, I think that opens up a lot for the backfield. So I think from a fantasy perspective, I think it's going to open up the run game a lot, and I think it's going to help out everybody on that offense, in my opinion.
I'm with you. I mean, it's just I think it's going to spread things out, but you got to see a decline.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree there. So he's coming from Detroit where he had like 77% of the targets over there. I mean, he's gonna eat into somebody's production there. The question is right now is who's it gonna be?
Carson Wentz is gonna definitely be the only sole benefactor, but I think your quality of targets are probably gonna go up for Ertz because there's gonna be a little bit more underneath in the middle of the field.
Agree with that. You can't bracket both Alshon and Tate and then expect that Ertz is not going to be open. I think he's a big benefactor of the whole thing. I think he's going to come out of this really, really good. His targets might decline, but there's going to be a lot of situations where he's going to be open and Carson Wentz is going to look for him. I mean, he loves his tight end. It's a given.
Plus, he'll be able to play through the playoffs for the first time ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Who gets moved out of the slot more, Tate or Aguilar now?
Hey, there we go. Let's talk about it.
That's the growing trend, as it should be, is you want to be in the slot. For many years, it was like, oh, he's the slot receiver. But that's where you want to be these days. So that'll be interesting to see. And let's talk about TJ Jones on the Detroit side, though. He's a thing now.
Yeah.
TJ scored last week.
I did see a tweet about that. Go check your waiver wires.
there is a.
I mean, I'll be looking. I'm clinging to life. I'll be looking at TJ Jones. I think I need him. So,
on the other side of that, though, like you mentioned, Brian, the Detroit side, I'm curious to hear your guys' takes, because all day on Twitter after this trade was made, I was seeing just 50% Marvin Jones season and 50% Kenny Galladay season. I want to hear your guys' take on who you guys think is going to get the biggest bump in efficiency, targets, everything. Who do you think is going to see the most production out of that move?
I'm trying to do something revolutionary with the phone here. Don't mind me. Someone else talk.
I think Kerryon Johnson is going to benefit pretty big
I think so too.
from Tate exiting, unless Theo Riddick comes back and they start using him like they used to. I hope not, because I think it's time to introduce another 3-down back to the league. So the guys that don't have Gurley and Saquon on their team can have a chance to have some dominant weeks.
Very, very true. Let me ask this, though. Could we, in the same vein, to answer your question, Jesse, could we be looking at a light version of Minnesota light?
I think you very well could be.
Where like all the targets are just funneling through these two guys, because they already don't use the tight end a ton in Detroit, right? Obviously, Theo Riddick can get a ton of targets typically when he plays. We just saw Kerryon get, I think, 6 receptions this last game, 6 or 8, something like that.
Yeah.
And it could be a case where everything funnels through, or like you were saying, Brian, it could be a case where we introduce TJ Jones and, we still look at the same, one of these guys ends up being the top target, and one of these guys ends up being the third of the 3. So it's really interesting to think about.
I think Stafford's definitely capable of handling 2 top wide receiver guys like that. I think that he's definitely capable of giving both Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones those targets, because you very well could be right. He could funnel just everything that way. I don't know if he's going to do it, though. I don't know. Like Matt said, I would love to see Kerryon get a little bit more work. I think he will benefit from it too. I'm just not sure. I don't know if it's going to funnel through both of them.
I think TJ is involved. I think he'll be a thing. I mean, Detroit's always thrown the ball well over 70% of the time for years, and Kerryon's the best running back they've had in a while. But
absolutely,
he's included in that passing play percentage, of course. But I don't know. I think TJ becomes a thing, and I don't know. I don't wish this on Galladay at all, but man. To this point, I'm knocking on wood right now. He's been healthy, but something happens to him, or of course for Jones, and then Jones is definitely a thing in that offense. So, I wouldn't sleep on Jones in most formats right now.
Yeah, earlier in the year we were talking about Lions being one of those teams that could potentially support 3 top 24 wide receivers. They're hearing it, and so I mean. Yeah, why can't TJ Jones be up in there too, or at least as a wide receiver 3 or some sort of flex on weeks? But yeah, totally realistic.
Real quick, just talking Lions, and then we kind of mentioned the Vikings. How great is this? And I'm in Minnesota, but I'm a Giants fan, so we can get into that another time. But so Cleveland is threatening Megatron's 8 games in a row with a 100-yard record. Minnesota, Detroit. So it's up to Detroit to defend Calvin Johnson's record. How great is that?
We're looking at you, Darius Slay.
I don't think it's going to last, man.
We're looking at you, Quandre Diggs.
Yep.
Not good.
Thielen barely made it last week. I wonder how much he and Cousins are really trying to push the envelope with that. I mean, they don't necessarily need to, but I wonder how conscious they are of it.
Late entry into the Royal Rumble here. For those that are not currently watching us on the live show,
Yeah.
the homie himself, Peter Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. Peter, what's cracking?
The legend himself.
The legend.
Right. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Peter?
What up, Pete?
Not much. Yourself?
You have just entered the Thunderdome where we're discussing all things that have happened today of all the craziness.
We're talking about Rashad Penny, Peter.
No.
Can I say one thing real quick? Non-football related.
Go for it. Yes.
All right, Peter. Your video is kind of weird. I feel like I'm watching Cinemax at night when I was a kid. Okay. It was like a little scratchy because we didn't have the right kind of cable. You guys know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
The late night.
Probably more. Probably
hours?
more than I needed to know. Probably more than I needed to know about your love life.
Wait, Matt, you stopped watching that when you were a kid?
Well, I have HBO Go now, so you know.
Oh yeah. Well, they're a little more mainstream. I still stick.
Moving
with
on up.
but yeah, we're not. That's another pod, man.
Anyways, my bad.
I don't get this whole "that's another pod" talk because all that is supposed to exist here.
No, you're very right. All right, hey, let's go, then, Matt. We doing this?
Hey, if I was in an actual bar, it'd probably be worse than that. No, it would be worse than that.
There's no probably to it.
Yeah.
Peter, what are your thoughts on the Detroit passing game right now with Tate on his way to Philadelphia, or Philly's passing game, either one or both, whatever you want to talk about?
Just everything all at once, J-Mike. Just throw it at me. All right. I came in just as you guys were losing your minds, I think. Something like TJ Jones is a viable wide receiver. I'm not on that train. The reason they had 3 good wide receivers was they had 3 good wide receivers. TJ Jones isn't that. Why would players don't just play well because the player that was in front of them disappears. That's just not the life I'm living, put it that way. But yeah, as far as Detroit goes, I think Marvin Jones, I don't know. I'm waiting to find out, but I think Marvin Jones might still be getting discounted. And if so, if that's Marvin Jones at a discount with more targets, I'm really interested in that. And, I'm all about that Kenny G life, so that's fine too. Have I got a delay on here? Or?
No. Heard you just.
We're just so dumbfounded that you wouldn't like TJ Jones. I mean,
hater.
Absurd.
That's what I was getting.
You didn't get the rundown of this.
That's what I signed up for.
Going to feature TJ Jones, did you, Peter?
This is a TJ Jones.
I did not.
Oh, Peter.
And now there's a TJ Jones wet blanket. TJ Jones love fest.
I was gonna say I'm in the right place. I'm in the place that people need to know that TJ Jones isn't good. That's where I need to be.
Profound, Peter.
Peter coming in hot already.
Yeah, I was already starting to get told off on Twitter, I guess, because people are excited about Demaryius Thomas in Houston. Is that the consensus that this is a good thing?
I mean,
I don't know that's necessarily good, but is it? I mean, it's not a bad thing, right?
Right.
No, and it's kind of sideways. And I don't know anyone's going to keep targeting him the way Denver did when he keeps underperforming. So I think he might actually see a drop. Someone was just saying he might suck up Will Fuller's targets, and wouldn't that be great? Maybe, but targets haven't been his problem. Like he gets all the targets, he just doesn't do anything with them. And I hate to be the he's getting old thing, but this is 3 years now of him not doing much with plenty of targets. So I don't know why it would be positive sideways, sure, but I don't know it's particularly good. Sorry.
I guess the
have I just come in and like kill
a little bit better than Denver's. I mean, do you want to be in an offense with Case Keenum or Deshaun Watson?
That was going to be one of my points too, Gabe. That's a good point. Is I think Deshaun Watson. I mean, not substantially, maybe. Yeah. I mean, he's a lot better than Case Keenum is, and Case Keenum isn't playing at a high level. So you have to question like the quality of those targets, because you're right. The targets haven't been his problem. I just think it's who's giving him those targets. I think there's something to be said for that.
I just think you're trying to have it both ways. It's like it's the quality of target and the target. Like TJ, the quality of the target doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter so much that you don't do anything with all the targets.
No,
right?
I definitely agree there.
Demaryius Thomas now, not Case Keenum. So and
I mean, I'm not trying to sell you like go out and trade for Demaryius Thomas. I just think that he might be in a better situation than he was in Denver. And I think we got to watch this thing play out a little bit. I think we got to see what he does soak up of the Houston offense. But I mean, I'm with you. So I totally get your side.
What's all this Case Keenum hate about? Is he not our boy anymore? I mean, a year later, we no longer love him.
He was never my boy, Peter.
I was going to say, he's never been my guy, but.
You weren't enjoying that Vikings life last year?
Oh, yeah.
I was.
We all were. Come on.
We all sipped Kool-Aid.
Let's admit it.
We all sipped it. We all did.
I don't think I'll ever have a better sports moment in my entire life than the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah, I cried.
There you go.
I cried, and I'm not a fan of either team, dude. But that was a really great sports moment, you know.
Yeah, it was. I scared my daughter big time.
But then he follows it up with this.
No, but Case Keenum's pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly.
All that to say.
I think that
Chad Kelly's going to step right in. Oh, wait a minute.
What's happened to our love child backup QBs and Chad Kelly and Kyle Lauletta?
Well, I picked both hard, and I've added both in Superflex, Dynasty League, and
I saw a tweet on Twitter that was like Eli Manning and Case Keenum both met up on a train and were like, we can get rid of our backup quarterbacks and no one would know. And I could not help but laugh out loud at that because that's essentially, I mean, that's leaning towards that. That's what happened,
I'm pretty sure that Eli Manning is a police officer on the side. Of sorts.
I also saw a tweet with him when they did that episode. I don't know what show it was, but it was Peyton and Eli dressed up as cops. I don't know exactly what it's from, but it was like, we found the cops that pulled over Kyle Lauletta last night. And I thought that was hilarious too.
So was he drunk? I only saw that he got arrested or whatever. Well, break the news to me, at least on this. Was he riding dirty? What happened with him?
I didn't see anything on that. I just saw that he hit a pedestrian car or a pedestrian police officer with his car and tried to flee the scene. As far as I know, I didn't read too much into it.
Nuts.
Wait, he ran over a cop?
That's what I saw. Maybe I'm getting lied to on Twitter or something. I don't know. Like I said, I saw something on Twitter.
World Star.
If you're watching this right now and you heard what I just said, kids, don't believe everything you read on Twitter,
or just what Jesse says. Period.
I guess so. Throw everything that I said prior to this. Throw it out.
That's a major street cred, though. Literally, street cred.
Oh, I don't remember what he got. I can probably look it up real quick. He got pulled over for something. Nothing crazy, Brian. Nothing insane, Brian. Just something simple.
So I'm a Giants fan, so look, I can grab all sorts of Giants shit.
According to
Eli 07 bobblehead here,
I'm not too far off.
Oh, you know, it's included in that's Scott Norwood. That's a Scott Norwood card, my favorite kicker of all time.
Supposedly, he almost hit a cop
coat
and another car to justify what I was saying. He per Mike Garafolo on El Twitter. He got pulled over, ignored cops' orders to stop, and almost hit a cop. So I wasn't too far off.
You go, Kyle. That's enough about what to talk, I think, for the one day.
I think so. But you think back to real quick back to DT. I think we haven't quite covered everything yet because sure the Will Fuller targets aren't there, but the offense has got to adapt a little bit to cater to what Demaryius Thomas does. He's probably going to work out of the slot a little bit. What do you think happens with Kiki? I don't know. I think he kind of might fall into that Fuller role. If anything, if anyone can, it'd be him. So what about Kiki though? Is anyone feeling that?
No.
I'm not a big fan, but I think you're right. He fits that role better.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, you're saying things that you gotta produce out of these targets. Well, he's produced decently. I mean, we can't trust him at all.
I think he's going to have to change positions, and by the time we get to playoffs, maybe, but I'm not going to want to throw him in my lineup at the playoffs. DT, I think, could adapt much faster to like a slot type role, and since he's old and a lot slower, I think he'll do better at that than kind of all the little screen elusive, or he's not as elusive as he used to. He did those little bubble screens and stuff all the time in Denver, and he used to be able to take those to the house. He just can't do it anymore.
Well, I think Peter was alluding to this, and I agree. It's a lateral move for DT, and that he's the third best receiver on the Texans now. Because on Denver, he was behind Sanders, of course, and Sutton, and now, I mean, if Cuty's healthy, you know, it's Hopkins, Cutie, and then Thomas. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really change a whole lot of anything for me, in all honesty. I mean, Sutton was already the guy. He was surpassing Thomas in Denver. Now Thomas is in Houston, and he doesn't know the plays. So I'm not too excited about this. I mean, Thomas is droppable in certain formats in league sizes, without a doubt, before the trade. And this doesn't change that, really, in my mind.
Aaron in the chat, he was keeping us straight. I'm not sure if we, Jesse, I'm not sure if you just read this from, did you read this from the chat or did you read something from online?
Yeah, I read
about Lauletta.
No, I saw it on Twitter this morning and briefly read over it.
Yes, because we can't get enough of Lauletta. I needed to know the truth of this. Aaron, I'm trusting you that you're telling me the truth, that this is the gospel according to Lauletta. Lauletta was trying to make a right turn from the wrong lane in his Jaguar. First of all, what 21-year-old drives a Jaguar?
Call the future quarterback of the Giants.
Oh, my bad. It's Grandpa's car, I guarantee it.
It's his mom's car. Okay, but that's neither here nor there, though.
To get to Route 495 West, according to a statement by the Weehawken Police Department.
Yep.
Where is Weehawken?
I know that.
He was told to keep going straight, but Lauletta almost struck an officer while making the illegal turn and then refused various instructions after he was stopped by another officer at the end of the on-ramp.
So my choice of words should have been almost. I should have inserted the almost in there because
the way you were talking, he got hit and drug him 50 feet.
Oh no! Okay, if that's the way you if that's
then had him roll over into the Hudson, probably nowhere close to where this happened.
The situation was crazy. I didn't mean for it to sound that crazy though. I didn't mean to come off like he was out there just trying to hit cops and level him with his mom's Jaguar. But
what color do you think the Jaguar was?
Like a champagne.
Oh, I'm gonna go dark green, like 100.
That's what I see is the dark green.
I knew it. That's a grandpa green. Yes. And he's just a shitty driver. He wasn't drunk, or I can live with this. Okay, there's hope. It sucks being a Giants fan.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up though, because I didn't mean for it to sound,
people
like
need to
he
know
was
the
out
facts.
there
like vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to sound like that. I mean, not at all. But
so have we come to a conclusion about Kyle Lauletta, or should we dig deeper? Is this
No, I think it's worth exploring. This is worth exploring.
Really not. I mean, it never was. He was never that way.
Peter, you're such a hater. Oh my God.
I am. I
Peter, you okay?
Oh, man.
Just out here.
So, something I was looking at earlier today, and I wanted to share. I wanted to share with Twitter, but I want to now share with you guys, since we're here. So obviously, Jameis apparently is done in Tampa Bay. Fitzmagic lives on. Everyone rejoice. And watching that game back, it's so funny to be able to see Jameis have every chance in the world to actually play well and do right things, and to watch him squander it left and right. Like, he got hit a ton, mainly because not because Cincinnati's pass rush was crazy, but he could not make decisions of what to do. It was rough to watch. Anyway, I would say this. Right now, Mike Evans is currently 4th in points per game among wide receivers in points in PPR. With Fitzmagic coming back, can you name 5 wide receivers that you'd rather have above Mike Evans?
Michael Thomas.
Easily. I second that.
I don't know. That's tough. He's definitely up there for sure.
Right. So
are we talking about Dynasty here? Because I've got like 10 I'd rather have in front of Mike Evans in Dynasty. I can list them off if you like.
I want to hear that list actually, if you can.
Yes, I would too.
Yeah,
I don't even necessarily like Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I just know that I think that life's about to get real good for him.
He wasn't even Fitzpatrick's guy. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but he wasn't the Fitzpatrick. I mean, I actually think Fitzpatrick only might last another week until the Bucs season ends. I mean, don't get me wrong, Winston was doing bad things on and off the field, but
actually, the Bucs
he was actually playing better than Fitzpatrick ever did.
Hey, we've all done worse than an Uber, man. Right?
No, we have not.
I don't know that I have it.
All right, my bad.
Let me see. I've got Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Michael
in front
Thomas.
Of him in Dynasty?
Yeah, Adam Thielen, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Brandon Cooks.
T.Y., huh?
Oh, wow.
I love
really
T.Y.
hate Mike Evans.
I like T.Y. too, but I don't know about that much.
Devontae Adams, top 5.
Oh, yeah, Devontae Adams. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd probably take him.
Ever since he got that extension, man, his dynasty value just skyrocketed.
Well, sort of top 10 without Devontae. That's
Yeah, and as long as Cobb, Allison, and everyone else they can find off the street isn't there, he's been scoring points. But, as long as they have someone else that's healthy, I think that's continuing going to be just too high. He's good. He's not even Jordy Nelson, frankly. He's good. He's all right.
Peter, I just want to let you know.
He's like the only receiver that's going to score double-digit touchdowns in 3 or 4 straight years, but whatever.
Yeah, touchdown.
That's another podcast.
I agree. A touchdown-dependent wide receiver. Fantastic. We're on the same page.
Peter, I just want to let you know in the chat also, and shout out to everyone else who's joined us since our last shout out.
Oh, yeah, we got a chat.
Yes, Chris Allen's in the building. It's automatic. Kyle Lebrecht, one half of the dummies, is in the building, and Kyle just told me. Well, he didn't tell me to tell you this, but I need to let you know because you may not see this.
This is going to be nice.
Right here. 2 words.
Yeah.
Peter's drunk. Peter's.
Oh, you're drunk.
No, you're drunk. No. Wow, you really hate Mike Evans. I thought I didn't like Mike Evans.
I don't really hate Mike Evans. I think he's good. I really do. I just think I'm not going to get him where everyone else is going to take him, and so I'm willing to push him down to make the point. That's part of what's going on, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I can see it. I just don't think he's volume dependent, and I'm always going to fade that over efficiency. Just in Dynasty long term. When I'm thinking long term, if this guy loses volume, as he did with Fitzpatrick, frankly, at the start of the season, then he produces less, which is true of everyone, but he can't make up for it with efficiency. And that's everyone else I have above him can. So, yeah, in Dynasty context, that's where I go with it.
I will say that as far as top 5 wide receivers go, I'd put Diggs there. I'd put him over.
Yeah.
AB's hard. I'd put him over Julio for sure. Who's the third one I'm thinking of? I don't know. I'd put him over Keenan Allen. I don't know if I'd have he and Thielen tied, maybe Diggs because he's younger. I'm talking Dynasty, obviously. He'd be behind Beckham and Evans for me, and Michael Thomas, maybe Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams and Diggs I see as pretty similar, not as playing style or anything like that, but as value, as far as value goes.
Yeah, the rest is.
If he stays healthy, he's top 3 next year.
The rest of the season angle for me,
crazy.
Real quick with Evans is that I don't know. Djax was invisible with Winston. And Fitzpatrick loved Djax. So, yeah, I think this dings Edmonds a little bit, even though there were positive splits for him. with Fitzpatrick this season, but with Fitzpatrick, he feeds everyone. He's a better quarterback than Winston. Winston zeroed in on Evans a little more. So yeah, I'm off Evans as a top 5 quarterback the rest of the way this season. Dynasty, whatever. I like Devontae Adams more. Let's put it that way.
Kind of looking at all these top wide receivers here, it's not all that unfair to leave Evans as like a top 10 or top 15. Cause I mean, really all the guys above that would be above him are kind of the wide receiver one on their team. So it's almost like a tier versus, you know, a rank of top 15. So it's not, I don't know if it's that much disrespect, but unless you're talking about him being in like tier 4 or something, Peter, then there might be something that needs to be said.
Well, what's tried and true this year is the Tampa Bay defense is probably the worst defense in football. So you gotta love the passing game, all the passing game for the Bucs, regardless of who it is, Evans or not. That's tried and true.
Very good. This question comes from Riley Bymaster. Riley's in the chat with us. What a Riles, baby bro Riles. Riley, he wanted to know as well. And this is another, I think, value thing that I find super interesting. James White, running back for the New England Patriots. Sony's down, and who knows, out or what the heck's going on with Sony. But James White's basically riding dolo. He and with Kenyon Barner back there. We watched
Cordell Patterson apparently.
Yeah, I was going to say
lead rusher.
Cordell Patterson with that stretch, that zone stretch where he was.
At first, I thought that was a gimmick, and I was like, they're going to get away from this.
No, it's a straight handoff, right?
And I was like, it's like they're going to get away from this after the first couple drives. This is just a setup or something. And sure enough, they stuck with it. They gave him carries all throughout the game, and I was like, this is going to be a thing, isn't it?
Yes.
This is going to be a thing.
James White's pretty hard to call value-wise in Dynasty because he still is a New England running back. But as far as redraft goes, I think he's a RB1 rest of season, even when Sony comes back. And honestly, even if Sony never left, I think he was. And I think it's possible that both of them got in there. More like not as high as Kamara and Ingram last year, but I think they could both sit in between 8 and 12.
Yeah, I think they could switch off like an RB 1 week every other, and possibly have some weeks where both of them are in there. So
yeah, that's a good call.
Realistic.
They're good. They're a really good 1-2 punch, and Tom Brady loves a pass catching back, dude, who can get out to the flat, and he loves to dump it off, man. That's where a lot of James White's values comes from is in the receiving game, because
that's pretty much all of it.
I was going to say he's not. Yeah, he's not a through the tackles runner, which Sony is, and that's like a good comparison there between that running back duo and Ingram and Kamara, because that's pretty much what I think that is like a reincarnation of that there. So I, like you said, rest the season in redraft. If I can, I'm trying to, it's highly unlikely that you can, but I would be trying to get James White because he is an RB1 rest of the season easy.
I offered Mark Ingram for James White today in redraft.
Did you get that done?
Yeah. I have not heard a response.
That's a win for me. That's a win right now. Easy.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
Gronk is cooked. Gronk is cooked rest of the season, probably rest of career. Actually, his back, he's not right. James White is going. If you get James White for Ingram, yeah. I mean, of course you offer that. I would be shocked if that guy accepted that. But hopefully he's not.
Yeah, I would too. But I mean, kudos to you if you can get that done, because it's just so much volume is going to come his way right now with Sony out, and that's just crazy production.
Yeah.
Well, especially the more peripheral redraft players. These guys aren't necessarily watching all the games. They're looking at box scores, even if that.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just looking at how many points were accrued, which James White has done much better and much more consistent than Ingram since Ingram's got back in the game. But the thing is Mark Ingram is still Mark Ingram, and James White is still James White. So a name will get a trade done a lot of time.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. It will. A lot of people don't think of James White as being like, when you look at the top 5 fantasy PPR running backs right now, you see James White sitting there at 5. You're like, what the What? Mm-hmm. And then you look at the guys under him, like Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, David Johnson, and you're like, no. And then because people will bite on that name for Mark Ingram because they associate with him with that tandem of him and Kamara right now, and the high-powered Saints offense. People think of Tom Brady and the Pats dink and dunk, short yardage situations, but right now they're doing a good job at trying to stretch the field, which is going to put James White in a really good, favorable position to catch passes out of the backfield. And I think that's – if you can get a deal like that done for Mark Ingram and James White, man, tag me in that after you get it done because I want to know.
Let me ask this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, can I bring in something from the chat?
As long as we don't leave James White, because I have one more follow-up.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, hold that, and we'll come right back to it. 3.
Okay.
So with James White, I found it super interesting. So like you were saying, Jesse, right now it looks like he's 6th in points per game right now for running backs, in PPR scoring. Golly, if I could talk. So what's funny is the man has 204 yards rushing on the year. Mm-hmm. But he's leading all running backs with 74 targets, which is bonkers to me right now. So
that's top 10 receivers too, probably, right?
Right. So he's I'm glad you brought that up because I want to switch over to receivers to see what that is in terms of targets. So 74 would put him at number 10 among receivers.
And they've had a bye.
That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd.
No, the Patriots had a bye. No bye for the
no bye
for the Pats yet.
No bye yet.
So let me ask this: when it comes to so I don't know if he's getting it the same way that Duke Johnson did last year, but this feels, I mean, just from a looks and smells like Duke Johnson-ish from a season ago.
Like Dookie.
One might say that it smells like
there we go.
It's Dookie, baby.
It's not chocolate. It's doo-doo, baby. So let me ask this: if you're in a dynasty league, and James White you can see as the piece that you need to kind of put your team over the top, are you giving up a 2019 first for James White?
Yep.
How high does that need to go for you to be like, I don't know about it? Like mid first, like 106?
Honestly, I don't know shit about the 2019 class yet, but if I'm going for it and there's money on the line, I'm doing 104 plus or 105 plus.
Okay.
I admittedly don't know much, but I know N'Keal Harry, I believe his name is, Arizona State.
People like him.
Yeah. and Darwin. I think there's the Florida State running back and one other receiver. Yeah, I'm not a huge rookie guy right now either, but it depends. In the PPR format, if it's a top outside the top 5, I would do that hands down.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that because even and I'm fairly new to Dynasty, so I'm feeling my way through my first season in Dynasty. So I'm feeling my way out on how to value draft picks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But a 105 and after seems doable because the long term of having James White, even when Sony Michel does come back, you have to assume that James White is still going to be a very big factor in that offense going forward in seasons after this. So I think it's a move that if you want to cash in your chips and be like, you know what, I'm in it to win this year, I think it has positive repercussions for you in the following seasons as well. So, I mean, I think that's a smart move right there, Matt. I definitely agree with you.
What do you think, Gabe?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of the situation in which you'd be trying to get over the edge with that. And if the owner has James White, if that's somehow their only producer on their team. I mean, maybe they've had a string of bad luck where they've got like Cook and Fournette or something, and that's like their RB1. Maybe that's kind of the case, but I was just trying to think of a situation where that would happen. I don't know. I think it would be hard for me to do that just because I know how malleable that running back situation is. And I is it worth the championship and then to lose a first round pick? Yeah, possibly, I suppose. But would you even have to pay that much? I mean,
right now, I think you would.
Really?
I think right now you. I think right now you would.
Like still really
right now you would. But to your argument though, you're right that backfield has been volatile every single year except for now because it's been so narrowed by injuries and with like Rex Burkhead being out and the emergence of Sony
Michel. A top.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the guy, And I stayed away from the Patriots backfield. I stay away from it every year because it is so volatile. But now the volume is so narrowed in that backfield right now that the guy that is producing is James White. But to your argument, Gabe, you're right. It has been volatile for years. At one point they had they had, I think this was this offseason too. Correct me if I'm wrong. They had Jeremy Hill, Rex Burkhead, James White, and Sony Michel back there. And it was just like, who is going to be the guy? But the question was, if you're trying to get that edge and win this year, I think it's a smart pickup. I think I would be willing to give that 105 and after. I think I would be willing to do it because, like I said, I still think that there's positive repercussions in the seasons to come.
Yeah, never touch the Patriots backfield preseason. Right now, Cordell Patterson has the most bell cow.
Yeah. And Brian coming in with the hotness.
I think, Gabe, I think you're onto something in that. Is James White, could it be that he's worth that first or that mid first? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a case where the person that has him, that's selling him, would they give him away for less than? Probably. Like, if I've got James White and I've got it, would you right now, knowing what we know, would you sell him for less than a second? Gabe, this for you. Because
I mean, sure, if I'm selling him, I'd try to get top dollar and I'd try to get that first, but
what are you willing to give for?
It'd probably be a late first. It'd probably be an early second of sorts.
Okay.
That's realistic. I don't know if someone would give him. I mean, it sounds like y'all would, but it just sounds kind of weird to me. Like for me, I'd rather swing on something that's like also a chance of hitting James White production on the second half of the year. Cause I don't care what he did the first half of the year. That doesn't help me. I'm thinking about the second half of the year and beyond at the same time. So maybe a guy like Kerryon, a guy like Aaron Jones, that seems like more realistic to spend a first round pick on rather than to spend it on James White.
Believe you me, no one is giving up Kerryon for a first right now. I've tried everywhere. Nobody. And that includes 3 there with his.
Not even like a top 3. Not even like a top 3 for Kerryon?
Bro, well, you know what? It's a good question. I don't like.
I would give you my Kerryon for top 3 any day.
Every league I'm in, I've tried to give a first for Kerryon, and nobody's budging right now.
Yeah, it's probably hard to get rid of an asset like that. But my point is that I'd rather try to scoop that up versus James White or Aaron Jones. We could have the discussion about Aaron Jones. I think that's more
well taken.
Probably more.
I agree with Gabe. This sounds a little like, damn, I missed him. Now I'm going to go overpay so I can feel like I didn't miss him. I mean, we missed the window. If you didn't get James White, you didn't get him. I mean, you don't give up your team for it. What's now.
Next? Who's next?
I mean, go get the next guy, and then someone else will give you their top 3 pick. I mean, that would be the move for me. I mean, what can you get Aaron Jones for right now? Is it less? The upside is definitely just as good, only it'll be better long term if you hit. I mean, if you can get him for less, go get that.
Fair. 3
with the pause. Seriously.
This long. You just dropped
Did that guy really just say that?
No, you dropped this truth, these meaty morsels that we've just got to chew on for a second. That's all.
Yeah. Right. We have to digest your words, Peter.
3.
They carry a lot of weight around here.
3 before we run, because we're running up against the old clock, sadly. What is it that you wanted to chop up regarding the chat?
I think it's an interesting question. Brian said Gronk is cooked, and I'm not sure I'd go that far. But one of the Aaron Bogwin asked,
he's been killing the chat today, by the way.
Yeah, dynasty-wise, what can I sell Gronk for and feel good about? I would take any of the big 3 tight ends from last year, assuming I needed a tight end back. I would take any of those 3. Plus, if I could get a second, I would be super happy if I could get.
So, Matt, who are your big 3, though? Is Kittle in there?
I know,
no, he's not. I would still go
Kittle's in my 3 moving forward. Kittle is a. I know you mean Ertz, Kelsey.
No. I mean Njoku, Howard, and Ingram.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would do.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's all right. I would do any of those 3, plus a little bit sprinkled on top if I could. It'd be awesome to get a second, but I don't need a second. I would take any of those 3. Not a third, because I think thirds are worthless, unless you're using them to get a package done. But if I could get them, and I'm struggling to think of another player, maybe Ito, somebody that has a chance to slot in, maybe an injury away.
Something.
Yeah, sure, Eckler. I would do Eckler for sure. That you're on the right track with that. Just a guy that
a guy that has potential, could fill in,
Or like a Dallas in a second, something like that. I don't know. I think Gronk will probably factor in a game or 2, but I've been off Gronk for a long time. But yeah, maybe I would. It's the bad time to sell Gronk right now. Not playing against Buffalo, but
yeah.
Is it though? Like we're saying he's on the decline and he's not gonna be back to his normal self. So like, is it just gonna keep falling? Do we need to?
In my mind,
I need to know because I need to know.
You can sell them. You can still sell. I mean, but you won't be selling to me. But I don't know. People will still buy Gronk. But
well, the good thing
Gronk is still. If I'm a contender, if I'm in the top 3, top 4. I'm still going to ride Gronk out for this year, take the chance of him dying on my roster, because he still would be my number 1, maybe behind Kelsey, not Ertz though. But yeah, and you're right. Gabe, you're right. There's totally a chance that this is it. Like it's now or never. And
he didn't want to play for anyone besides New England,
Yeah.
Yeah. Does his contract? Hey, I was listening to that just as a side note, that podcast Gladiator about Aaron Hernandez. You have to check that out if you haven't already. But he was actually signed to New England through this year, which is super crazy. Anyways, is Gronk, is he on his last year? I don't even know his contract situation.
I'm going to try and pull that up on Spot Rack.
Spot Rack, Spotrack. Do we ever get a confirmation of how to say it?
I'm just happy that I had zero exposure to Gronk pre-draft, like in mock drafts and everything. I literally, because people always tend to overpay for him, I feel like. So
for sure,
this is one of those situations where I was very. I mean, it sucks because you don't want to see a guy with that much potential have to go down and be in discussions like this in fantasy and stuff, or even in just real life football. But this is one of the situations where I'm like, man, I'm very happy that I stayed out of that market during my pre-draft stuff.
As the quick reality angles, I said I was a pathetic Giants fan, and in 2011 they would not have won that Super Bowl if Gronk was healthy in that game. That's for damn sure. I don't know if you remember, he played, but he didn't play in any playoff game until that.
Yeah.
But man, he's just like, he's so good, but he's just been such a moving target his whole fucking career. He's just like,
he's a Clydesdale, man.
Him up, and it's a shame, but
bro. He's something.
I will say that the fantasy community has way more allegiance to Gronk than the Patriots do. If his contract's over, they're next man up. They're going to get rid of him. They're not going to pay him.
Yeah.
So that really depends. And he's going to hang him up, I think. If the Patriots,
yeah, I think so too. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he would.
And I don't even know how interested he is in playing right now.
No, he's got vodka sponsorships for days lined up and all that shit.
Right.
The thing is, too, the Patriots are getting it done without him.
The good life. That's the real angle here. Why is Gronk even playing football right now?
Right.
I don't know. I'd be out there living my best life.
Yeah.
He's single too, isn't he?
I'm sure.
Yeah, he is.
See, that shit's crazy.
You can't lock down a man like Gronk. He's out there trying to Gronk. He's just trying to Gronk, man.
Trying to Gronk spike.
Yeah.
I bet Gronk's got a little secret, if you know what I mean.
Oh, a little Adonis?
No, I'm not talking about Adonis. I'm not even going to bring it up now. It just got too weird.
You made it weird, J-Mac.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought you'd be like he's got a kid.
You got too weird for 3.
Yeah,
I know. Jeez, man.
So he does have a love child. Awesome. Breaking news.
Speaking of tight ends, what's going on with Jordan Reed? He's healthy on the football field, getting targets, and he's not elite. He's someone I'm actually trying to pick up in a few places where tight ends might matter more than else because of those three things.
Points per game right now, he's tied for 18th. How sad is that?
The only explanation is VD. Alex Smith has VD. He's had VD for years. So they go way back. That's the only thing, right?
Wait, are you talking about venereal disease or Vernon Davis?
He's got this Vernon Davis affiliation.
How dare you call that Pro Bowl a venereal disease, J-Mike? That's just not right. I'm telling everyone I know that you just called Vernon Davis a venereal disease.
No, that's his nickname. Hey, I've got a quick Vernon Davis story, actually. So I used to live in D.C., and my buddy went to college with, I can't remember his name. His name was Thomas something. He went to Kansas State, but he was like a third-string running back for the Niners. He was from Northern Virginia. When Vernon Davis was a rookie, my buddy knew them both, said, come out, hang out with me. And he didn't say that Vernon Davis was buying drinks all night. He told me that the next morning because I passed it up. Long story short, I could have partied with Vernon Davis a long time. Peter, I was not disrespecting Vernon Davis at all.
No, it's J-Mike. I know. It's all right.
I did not. You know what? I'm done. Peter, Gabe, I'm going to need you to get Peter up out of here. My goodness.
This was a terrible idea.
That being said, it's 10:34, Gabe. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
No, please don't go.
All right. Well, I did.
Okay, don't close the bar, man. One more.
I want to hit the comment from Threed about buying those top three of the rookie tight ends. One thing is that I think you can put Kittle in there now. He's the only one that's been up there with that's really been producing. Those three haven't. I mean, Ingram's been kind of injured of sorts, but also just the Giants. We all know too well.
Eli'd.
Yeah. And if that gets fixed, who knows? But
Lauletta. Did we talk about Lauletta yet? Should we talk about Lauletta?
So
where are we putting Austin Hooper?
Guys, I think you can get quite a bit back if you're getting to Njoku and whomever else. It doesn't have to be Ito Smith. I bet you could get a little bit more than that, a little more juice than that. So
yeah, it's just totally league dependent, man. I've seen some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Especially in the bankroll leagues. Like bankroll leagues, I feel like just bring out the most wild of things. But yes.
I do have Gronk in that bar tab league. So how much does he sell for? Hopefully a lot.
I'll die on this hill. I've had a great time, boys, but I'll die on Kittle is better than long-term, short-term, Njoku, Ingram, OJ Howard. Kittle is the guy. Kittle is the next.
He's good.
We call it Kelsey Baby Gronk, which was true. Kittle's the real deal. Yeah, man. Kittle.
He's depending on how things pan out for the Giants, I really like Ingram long term.
Well, I love him.
I really like him long term. Depending on if they can get a guy who can get him the ball. I mean,
one last question, just because I would feel badly if we didn't address it with our man Burger. He asked about, I'm trying to pull it up. I think it was on Twitter. He asked about Larry Fitzgerald. Is he back?
Yeah. In short.
He's back on a podcast right now.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I will not accept Larry Fitzgerald slander in here. That's not okay.
I love the man. I love him. I just think there's going to be.
Hey, man, when I get too old, do me a favor and just take me out in the backyard and shoot me.
Yeah, we'll do that with you, but not with Larry Fitzgerald.
Fair enough.
You're worth a lot less. Sorry. I get 0 points from you.
15-year career, fellas. Just think of it this way. 15 years. I think I got this right. 15-year career, 18 mother effing quarterbacks that poor guy's had.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner was
he's still one of the best. He's still one of the best to play.
He is.
Really is.
It's crazy.
He's the best He's the best third-round pick you'll ever spend and has been for years. So just keep doing that.
Easily.
Thank you, Byron Leftwich. Thank you. We appreciate you.
One shout out, and we'll stop there. J Mike, we good?
What a dope episode. Heck yeah, we're great.
That was fun.
We can keep going, but we've
amazing.
grown up and we're responsible now, and we're trying to make it so people will actually listen to the entire episode. So
kids, man.
Of sorts. Well, we're going to say goodbyes then with people. You can say your things that you'd like to say or not. Pass it on to the next person. Just don't get too freaky, Threet. Peter, let's start with you, my man. Actually, he's muted.
You saw I was muted and were like, that's the guy I'm going to
Well, So the thing is vision bad over here. Also, your screen even worse. And the white microphone was matched up with your blurry white shirt. So it was all just not good for me. I just got to stick up for myself a little bit here.
I got it. It's always my fault.
No, it is. It's
frankly, I'm used to it. Yeah. My name's PA Howdy on Twitter. You can find me there, right, for DLF football. And I'm doing player projections this year for playerprofiler.com. So yeah, that's basically where you can check me out.
Real quick, how much can we buy Rashad Penny for?
All the pennies, almost $1.
Right? I mean, like
a second for the right piece.
A second, right? Person. That's pretty fair, right?
I'd still pay a first if it's a random or a late first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Peter, next time you tell someone that's my 2 cents, say that's my 2 Rashard pennies.
No.
Okay.
Buzzing.
Zinger. There it is.
Don't drop. That is a callback. All right, 3.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter. I'm at Dynasty Butcher. I don't talk about football too much. I usually just get drunk and start going on rants, or just when I think something's funny, I'll try to post it. Next year, 2019, look out for my movie, Summer of Kai. That's a callback from an old episode.
That's a callback.
So I'm still producing that. I just have to find actors. I've been hitting up the college for the nude models for the art classes, seeing if they're down. I haven't had any luck yet. So if you know anybody, send them my way.
Slide in.
Literally.
What do you have to share?
You guys, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse Reeves FF. I'm on there way too much. I spend a lot of my free time on Twitter engaging with people, talking about stupid things and football for the most part. Contributor over at ffstatistics.com, so you can catch a lot of my work. I have a weekly article that comes out, the rushing report, every Thursday. You guys can check that out, and hit me up on there. I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Go Chargers, go!
Yes, you can suffer with me through amazing Chargers takes while I tilt every Sunday. Now that their bye week is done, you can come on over to my Twitter page if you're a Chargers fan listening to this. Come on over. If you're not, you can still tilt with me. I'll tilt with anybody.
Speaking, we were talking a lot about tight ends a bit. What are we buying Hunter Henry for?
Ooh.
A first.
I was going to say a first, but $1 million with that too, because he's going to be the best tight end in the league next year.
For the playoffs, right?
No, they're not. No, because there's no way. You got to be smart with ligaments like that. There's no way, and they're gonna.
He could.
They said he was running. They were saying that he was running a couple months ago, and I called bullshit. I was like, "There's no way that he's running full speed after that." I've torn both of my ACLs, so trust me, I know what a climb that is. Come back.
Wasn't he like the first person to touch a blade of grass in like training camp, and then he blew his knee out?
Yes,
it was very early. It was.
We call that. We as a Chargers fan, we call that being a part of the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are cursed for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're sitting at 5-2 right now, so maybe that curse is going out the window.
You better hide your kids and hide your wife, because everybody's getting injured out there.
Yeah. Well, this year so far we've been doing pretty good, but. Yes, come over, Jesse Reeves FF on Twitter. Hang out with me. Yeah.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah.
Gabe?
I mean, you kind of gave your spiel at the beginning. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, let's be real
quick.
To
talk about my letter?
I want to pin my MySpace page.
Yeah. Get it.
Everyone get out your pen and paper. It's VTXJ on the Twitter. I work for Fanball. Go there, play some DFS. You won't win $1 million, but you won't put up with the 150 entry shark bullshit, Burrito Brothers, Chipotle addict, that. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. I forget who recommended me to be on this, but I had a blast. I hope to be back sometime. It's a pleasure, boys.
Likely our executive producer, Jake.
Jake, yeah, that's right. Draft talk, NFL draft talker. He's got to come teach me some golf. And if he's watching, Jake, I just bought a Top Golf membership. Come teach me. All you have to do is buy some beers. It's on me. So let's go.
The OG NFL draft talker. Now he's, what is he? Jake Anderson, FF, J Mike. Is that it?
Yep.
Yes,
all
correct.
Right. Well, those were the days.
Find him on the Dynasty Crossroads podcast.
Hey.
Wow.
Quick shout out to both John and Gabe for having everybody on tonight, dude. Putting on a great show. Yeah, just want to say thank you for having this great bunch over here. You guys are great hosts. You guys are great people. And I had a blast.
Wow. That was mighty.
I concur.
Thank you.
I just think you guys should be.
I sat back and listened.
I think you guys should be thanked for putting together this ragtag group of people, and you guys should be thanked for that. You guys, your work deserves to be recognized.
I doubt anyone really knows, but I'm not drinking Miller Lite and red wine. This is a cup of water. Just looks like a beer can. So like, I feel like one person will be like, "What the fuck is that guy doing?" I'm
gonna try that one at school tomorrow. It's water. It's fine.
This is definitely wine.
J Mike, what have you got to say about yourself? Your fantastic self.
Man, I mean, first of all, so happy that the bar is back open. Glad anytime we miss or anytime something crazy happens. Anyway, my wife surprised me with something, and Gabe hooked me all the way up with, holding me down. So anyhow, glad to be back with you guys. To our guests, thank you guys so much. This was a full house, and it was perfect. It was perfect. I almost feel terrible that Jesse, you nor Brian got to jump off or give any of your DFS takes, which I'm kind of sad about. Maybe you'll have to shout one random thing out before we do close up shop. But to everyone what did you say, Gabe?
I said, yep, I agree.
Right. To everyone in the chat, thank you guys for joining us again. Always live on YouTube Live Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, typically till 10:30. We've grown up. We're adults now. We're doing it for about an hour. This will be just over an hour by the time that we finish. So doing the best we can for you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Everyone that's checking us out on podcast form, thank you all as well. Actually, the funny thing is I made a joke about us being on Spotify several weeks back, and they're working to actually get us on Spotify now. So you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean. The list goes on and on. Give us a like, give us a retweet, share with your friends. Let them know how much fun they're missing out on here at the Open Bar. You can find me on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. You can find my main squeeze, Gabe Gearing, a.k.a. G2, a.k.a. Man Bun, a.k.a. 2 for your crew. Holla at your boy on Twitter at FF Man Bun. And you can find the show's handle on Twitter at The Open Bar FP, as in fake pigskin. What up, Jared? What up, Kyle? Thank you guys for putting us on. And that is that. Gabe, you've trimmed your goatee, and I'm a little disturbed, but you look so good. Take us home.
I just thought of this. Wow. There's a reason for this. It's for tomorrow. It's a special day around in the world. It's called Halloween.
Wait, sorry, I don't want to, you can do something amazing, but I meant to do this. Can I?
Yeah. So you dressed up? I was gonna suggest we should all just dress up.
I wasn't sure if this was gonna be a Halloween episode, so I came prepared. These are at not at the thrift store. Look, I'm Captain America.
For those that are listening to this, he
I meant to do this, I forgot. But here I am. But anyway, take it away. Captain America loves this podcast. Gabe.
I did too, man. I think y'all will be upset if I reveal the costume tomorrow. You'll be upset that I wasn't on the open bar with it, but you'll enjoy nonetheless. So that's why this is the way that it is, J Mike. Just, full disclosure.
I'm with you, fam.
Okay. And as far as the length of the episodes, we probably talk like football, like actually an hour. And then our intro and outro is like the bookends that make it, $1:20 or hour 15.
I don't know. Between being sponsored by Sharper Image,
this is true.
The Mary Kay Talk and
TJ
the Skinamax.
TJ Maxx. And Ross. Don't forget Ross.
Yeah, Ross, TJ Maxx, and Skinamax all in one. So we're living it up.
And Summer of Kai.
Coming out 2019.
Where you're looking for new talent.
Boy.
For the movie.
Okay.
Send nudes.
Don't forget Boner Jams 03. Shout out to that.
One quick for the DFS people. One quick start of the week of sorts. It could be a lock for cash. It could be a good cheap play that you like this week. One from you, Captain America, and then one from you, Jesse.
Jesse, you go first because
No! Don't throw me under the bus yet. This one's you.
He wasn't ready.
I wasn't
ready. Well, I'm always looking for contrarianism, and we were talking Mike Evans, and I don't think people are full on board with him, but against Carolina, I wish I had it in my mind as Captain America. I've been fighting crime. There was that dude with the red face, and I had to punch him a lot. And then I don't have the sweetest superpowers, but I'm really positive, and I'm feeling really positive about Mike Evans this week. Captain America signing off on his pink phone. Take it away, Jesse.
All right, so mine. This is going to be a full GPP play. Chris Herndon at the tight end position.
Ooh, wow.
3 straight weeks.
What's he
with
like?
a touchdown.
$3?
Yes, and ownership is going to be very low. So if you hit on him, they play the Dolphins this week. So if you hit on him, I think that could be pretty massive. He's seen an uptick in targets in the past 3 weeks, and he's becoming a red zone threat for Darnold. So I think that's a pretty low-key GPP play right there if you want to risk it for the biscuit, man.
Yeah. Herndon on Fanball. Way over the other guys, without a doubt. Captain America.
You heard it from Captain America's mouth. Yeah. Straight from the source.
Kinda. J Mike, I don't know if you actually said that we're on Spotify, but we are actually on Spotify.
Turn up. Mama made it.
I searched it. I was curious if it was even there. I don't know how long it's been there, but we're there.
I think as of maybe 2 weeks ago.
It's there on Spotify. If that's your thing, go ahead and download. No bonus coverage, on Spotify. We're not a Spotify Sessions podcast.
Bro, we about to be rich.
Yet. That's true. This has been great. Thanks to everyone here joining us. This was a very lovely episode. People in the chat, people on Twitter interacting with us and watching live, listening on a podcast. We all love you. So we'll see you next week. We're lined up already for just weeks on weeks on weeks. Y'all can't handle it. Put your drinks up for my people that are with me now. So cheers to the old camera, one of these styles.
I have an empty one of those.
Been a pleasure.
And we'll see y'all next week.
TJ Jones for life.